and today I have a somewhat big video, but not too big. This is an in-between while I get ready to do videos on the individual Stunticons, and eventually the Minosaur Combiner. So today I'm going to look at some mini-bots. These are three. We have left to right, we have Powerglide, Brawn, and Cosmos, all in their own unique styling. Somewhat inspired by animated, especially these guys, Powerglide in particular. Brawn's a bit more G1-esque, but he's still stylized a lot. He's also breaking apart at the back there. Fix that real quick. Anyway, these are sort of to scale with my builds, as in they're like larger vehicles and can be seen as larger. But these do also actually scale with mainline figures as mini-bots, and all have the sort of similar proportions. Of course, I have others like Centurion is technically a mini-bot, and Bumblebee and the Cliff Jumper, but if you're bringing Cliff Jumper, you can see like he is a lot smaller, which is what I wanted. I wanted Cliff Jumper to seem a lot more like a Human Alliance type character, where he's like the same sort of size as a human, whereas these guys all have their own unique stuff. So I'm going to start with the least involved and then get on to Powerglide, who is kind of the most involved. So I'm going to start with the least involved, which is Cosmos. So moving these guys off, breaking Brawn because he's really easy to break. Moving those guys off, we'll start with Cosmos here. So Cosmos here is of course a UFO, a bit more stylized than G1. We've got some headlights here. It's kind of like a hover car, Autobot symbol, cockpit that can open, and you can either fit micro figures in there and fit like a couple, and just kind of, you can't really sit them. You literally just have to like stand them in a gap or like lay them down or whatever. You can also store his weapon in there. He's got a little pistol you can store in there. You can use that. He's also got a nice undercarriage as well. Of course, the head does unfortunately stick off the back with some thrusters. His transformation is really simple. So to start, we're going to flip down the legs, then flip down the feet. We're then going to fold out the arms, spin these thrusters. Then I'm going to open the cockpit, display that out, and then we're going to use that ball joint to bring it in and collapse it all around. Can then flip down his arms, spin these shoulders up, and flip the thrusters back. Ignore the fucking plaster on my hand. Then I'm going to rotate the head round and open up the battle mask. Nice and simple. Here we have Cosmos in his robot mode. So these guys all kind of have like the exact same articulation. So bring him forward, for the most part at least. A ball joint at the shoulder, ball joint at the elbow. A little more limited on this guy. Ball joint at the hip and ball joint at the foot. Of course, he does also have this crazy fucking ab crunch backwards. Nothing forwards though. He has head rotation, but you have to kind of take the helmet off and rotate the head separately. I do occasionally do this technique where just using minifigure heads, especially like heads of actual robots. You can get this really nice expressive. It's not yellow, but it's nice and gold. And of course, he has a battle mask. And for comparison, I do just have Legacy Cosmos, who is roughly the same size. So, grabbing Legacy Cosmos, see what I mean by these work as mini bots. He's a little bit smaller and a little less chunky. And my camera refuses to focus if he's in there. Jesus. The focus just disappears if Cosmos is on screen. It's like he's got some sort of magic power against my camera that just immediately kills it. Anyway, put him back over there. We get to the back and he's really nice and clean. For his accessory, we just have a little traditional space ray gun that can sit in his hand. And it can also stud onto the back of his booster pack for a holster. Putting him in the back, we're then going to move on to my least favourite of the group, Brawn. So Brawn here is a monster truck type thing. Of course, the wheels are a lot further in, but just use your imagination. I did experiment with having him like raised up a lot, but it looked ridiculous. Especially in robot mode, it looked really bad. Also, it's nice to have got this nice big aggressive bumper that is asymmetrical, but you'll see why later. Some nice headlights, rounded front. Clear blue glass, got this tyre on the back, really unsightly with colours. I need to fix this so it's all green for the most part. And of course these nice huge wheels. And then when you come to the underneath, it all just falls apart. Anyway, start its transformation. Unfortunately, there is part swing, but it is sort of weapon storage. I'm going to take this grill off and just flip this up and rotate it, and this will become his little gun rack for his arm. We're then going to flip these wheels back, then just bring them down, extend the legs, unstud them, then just bring the arms, and then rotate the shoulders. You can open his hands if you want, but I tend to just leave them closed for punching fists. And then, I think he's also the smallest of the group as well, to be honest. Like, he does seem a lot smaller than the others. There we have Brawn in his robot mode. I mean, you can tell, like, he is the miniest minibot. His head cannot move at all either because of the build. But he does, of course, his fingers have guns on the ends of this side, and that's because you can rotate it around, then stud on this weapon rack. And then you have his big old gun arm and shit. Really, it is just annoying, obnoxious parts forming. It's mostly to make clearance for these, because you can leave it on top of there and actually have a head-mounted gun system. But I just think it looks stupid up there, so I prefer... It's got a parts form off anyway, which is unfortunate, but... You could also just put a grill there, but then you lose the headlights. It's, head-wise, he has no articulation. He's got this scratched-up, huge Autobot logo. He's got the implied, like, face there. Legs are the same as Cosmos, and so are the arms, except he has individual fingers now, and does not have a claw hand to grab anything. He just has these finger guns that are built in as his only weapons. I'm going to close his fist, though, because it looks a lot better and more Brawn-like to just be punching the shit out of people. Now we move on to the final and my favourite, Powerglide. Powerglide here, of course, is his usual plane, but as an open cockpit design, and if you take one of these little minifigures here from the board games line, you can sit them in to pilot it. And you can also do a mech suit with this, because you don't have to transform the head out to transform the rest of it. And it leaves this cockpit here. Anyway, start his transformation. It's quite simple. We're going to start with doing the arms, because it's the easiest part. So you flip up the wings, then fold down the arms. They just rotate around, although I'm going to splay them out. You don't really want to do fold them out in that order, because it gets in the way. Then we're going to get to the cockpit here. We're going to fold it all the way up. Then we'll get the head, and we're going to come to the cockpit. This is the most involved part. So I'm going to start by swiveling these around to get them out of the way. Then these red pieces are on hinges. This is to give all the clearance for the head, but you also want to have the hinges there anyway, because it gives a really nice flush red. Then we can tuck the head through, and then everything can fold. All of these can fold back up as if they were never moved. Can then rotate the head. With the head out of the way, obviously the legs have flopped down already, but then these are going to rotate, and we're going to take this plate, flip it up, then I'm going to bend the tail down, bend it around that plate, which helps hold it in place, then just bend that in. I'm going to split the legs and rotate the toes, and rotate the fronts of the legs, because his legs attach in a slightly different way to the other two. Taking him off camera for a second. I also want to just, because this is on a ball joint, you want to just twist it up a little bit. And get him standing. And then we have Powerglide in his robot mode. Of course, being a little bit shorter than thingy over there, but makes up for a lot in mass. So, before I even get to his accessory, because it is literally a pistol, I want to get to my favourite part of this. So, one of the main things with him in the G1 show was his romantic relationship with a human, which sounds weird, but he develops a heart. Now, it's annoying to do it at this scale, but he does have that. So, it doesn't hinge open, but we can rotate this panel, and he has a heart. This is, of course, just one of these heart tiles. It is completely removable, and doesn't have to be there when you build this guy if you don't want it to. You can just put a red plate behind this, and just have a solid power glide. This could also, with a little bit of retooling, make a really nice micro-scale lug nut. So if you look at the overall proportions, it is very similar. You just have to change these hands to be like the claws, change the head design up, and maybe add a panel that flops backwards and folds over the head to make a full cockpit. But other than that, they're actually very similar, which I think is pretty neat. You can probably also like move the wings up a bit and like have them like that for lug nut. And then of course you can clip his pistol into his hand. Oh, or his pistol can just explode. Clip his pistol in his hand like that. And he fits in really nice with the other three. Of course, Centurion also fits in here from like all the Hearts of Steel Bumblebee, but I tend to just leave him out. He has similar proportions, but I'm not as big a fan of him. For a size comparison, I'm going to bring in Soundwave, because I don't touch him a lot actually anymore, which is kind of disappointing, but you know, it's Soundwave. He's like one of the coolest characters on my display. Of course, there he is with his guitar. This is a standard Voyager size character that I do. And all his bulk, and he's got laser beak in his hand in guitar mode. He's just awesome. If you haven't seen the video on this guy, check him out. It's a Prime styled boombox. Like the chicken legs, the long like angular arms, with like those fucking creepy fingers. He is truly a really fun and awesome build. So I recommend checking out that video. I don't really need to say a link in the description. You can just go on my channel and scroll and you'll find it. Trying to think of something else to grab for size comparison. I think it'd be a really fun teaser to maybe grab Menasor and show off my biggest and bulkiest creation compared to my smallest ones. Or not my smallest, but the mini-bots. They're small. By grabbing... briefly putting in the background. Oh, fucking hell, he wants to fall over. Okay, I'm going to put him in front. Okay, I'm just going to put him in the back, and I'm going to hold on to him. Because he really, really wants to fall over. But... there's Menasor in the background. That's the full teaser you get of this guy. I don't want to spoil him too much, because he truly is an awesome combiner. There is no parts forming trailer to form that. It all combines in a really fun way. The trailer gets involved, but it's in a really cool, unique way, and I think you guys will love it. It's a lot different to my old one that had a shit ton of parts forming, but then again, my old one did also actually use the trailer for Motormaster, but it was also like G1 styled, because that was like, when I was first doing my builds, I tried to focus too much on G1 like a dumbass, and I don't know why, because I don't even like G1 that much. At least compared to stuff like Animated or Prime, where I like the stylization a lot more. Anyway, that is my quick video on the mini-bots. It's really quick. Usually, a video on one character would be like 14 to half an hour, and this one's like 3 characters, just really speedily covered. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video, which should be like a couple of the Stunticons, I think. I might start with Motormaster, because he's my favourite, and then work my way down through the smaller ones, and probably do them in like group videos, or I do like the arm bots, the leg bots, because the leg bots are basically exactly the same transformation, just different designs. And then eventually do like one video where I combine it all. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video.